Uh, Joe, over the weekend, and kind of a little bit of a startling situation. Mike Elston is heading to the Chargers with Harbaugh. I thought that he would be promoted as their next DC. Thoughts of Mike Elston heading out, and what should the Wolverines do?
Well, I think the craziest part about all this, and to be clear, this is no shade directed at Sherrone Moore or anything like that. It's more directed towards the situation. It feels like most of the coaching staff that could have stuck around is understanding that everything is about to hit the fan and that they're trying to get out of there. And, we can also talk about the stuff that we talked with Halfley and all that when he made the jump. And we talked about Chip Kelly and the complications that now come into play with the modern college game, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it feels like the whole Michigan staff is like, I don't know what punishments are about to come down, but it doesn't feel very good. So I'm sorry, Sherrone, we love you, man, but we don't want to be here for the mess. We don't want to be, potentially suspended for being tied into the scandal that is going to eventually happen. I think without knowing who the potential candidates are, it does feel shitty for Michigan that they don't end up having the potential to promote him because he felt like a no-brainer. I always think that when you lose a coordinator, you look at the position coach of the position group that was the best on your team. It was the defensive line. He's the best recruiter on the team outside of Sherrone Moore. It would have been a no-brainer, so it's going to be tough for them.
I'm not necessarily surprised that Harbaugh is taking a lot of his staff. I mean, he's the one that hired them. And obviously you want to take a lot of staff with you when you go somewhere. I am surprised of how many. Now, Jay Harbaugh is going to Seattle. He is actually not staying or going with his dad. Joe, was reported, though, that Wink Martindale, the former New York Giants DC, could be in the running for being the next DC at Michigan. Your thoughts on Wink Martindale?
Yeah, so as I said a second ago, not knowing who the potential candidates are, you and I were saying earlier, like, who the heck do they go and hire? And holy hell, they're going and getting one of the best defensive coordinators.
Or trying to.
They're trying to. He sounds like the leading candidate. It sounds like situationally for him after getting burned twice in a row, the way things ended with Baltimore, despite the best part of that team being their defense. And then the counter of that, he's with the Giants. And I'm a Giants fan, the only saving grace for the Giants was their damn defense, which has a bunch of nobodies on it because of tension between him and the entire rest of the coaching staff. He's out the door. It makes sense for a guy like Wink Martindale, as we've seen with a lot of other brilliant coordinators, take a year at the college level and then move back up maybe in a season or two. And I think that that's best for him, one. But two, man, I don't think the Big Ten's ready for what he's going to do, man. This guy is an aggressive, creative, confusion-creating defensive coordinator that is going to cause so many problems for all the teams that they're going to face. I mean, if Bill O'Brien sticks at Ohio State, I am excited as all hell to witness what is going to be the matchup between Bill O'Brien and Wink Martindale.
You know what's interesting, too? Okay, I actually disagree with you on one thing.
Oh.
Look, when you have somebody that it's being leaked that has has been a cancer in the locker room, I do always ask questions. Is it the guy that's out the door, or is it, was it everything that's surrounding him that was so bad? I don't know if I can put that on Wink Martindale on this one, but I will tell you, I do ask questions, right? And I do have that in the back of my mind that, look, man, this guy was just fired because of locker room issues.
Well, it wasn't so much he was fired. The rumor is that he stormed out after the season ends on why is the Giants head coach name is escaping me. I'm a Giants fan. Brian Daboll. That was the rumors that they had a falling out, and it was between them. There was no real drama in the locker room. The reason why I'm not worried about Wink Martindale and it being related to him is that, one, the defense was the best part of the team. There was never an instance where I felt like the defense took a step backward despite there being some injuries. There's never a spot where I felt like the defense was the reason why that they were losing. I can understand why somebody as experienced as Wink Martindale would be frustrated by an offensive situation that is hampered and held back by a garbage quarterback of Daniel Jones, and then also not having a strong contingency plan, and you're relying on Danny DeVito to keep you alive and floating. So, like, I don't blame Wink Martindale, you know? But to your point,
isn't Danny DeVito the actor?
I would be a little bit worried that when you've got somebody that veteran, could potentially cause problems for a young new head coach, that if things don't go well, he might feel that he could completely, be the bigger man in the room. He could think that he could command the respect of everybody else and try to outdo him. There's a strong possibility of that because, again, we don't know the full story of what happened inside the Giants front office.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, look, we never really heard of culture issues around Brian Daboll before, either with Saban, when he was in Buffalo. I mean, the reason I remember a lot of people talking about that he got the job, and a lot of people that worked with him were so excited for him, was that how great of a guy he was. So what, he gets mad? I mean, he's the head coach. What head coaches don't get mad? But I do agree. Look, first-year head coach in Sherrone Moore, but there's got to be a reason that he wants to go Wink Martindale. So we'll have to see how that transpires.